Princess Rosalina, you're coming with me.
Well, I mean, he was right. The Super Mario Galaxy movie, also known as Nintendo's non-discreet attempt at bringing Star Fox back into the public consciousness, because holy wow, that was not a Mario Galaxy movie, that's for damn sure. And, oh god, it's happening again. Gonna lay my cards on the table from the get-go. I like the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I cannot lie about that. I had a very fun time, and I'm half ashamed, half not ashamed to admit that. Because if we're all being completely entirely honest with ourselves here, Illumination's Mario movies are the purest examples of hype moments and aura, and basically nothing else. Oh yeah, by the way, I will be giving some spoilers in this review, but let's be honest, you don't care about spoilers for these movies, you'll be fine. I hope so at least. Last I checked, I was told the plot didn't matter. I recently did a rewatch of the first movie in preparation for this one and came out liking it a lot more than I did before. I still don't think it's a remarkable movie in any sense of the word. It's a very basic and by the numbers plot that is paper thin when it comes to any sort of substance, but it has a couple of good jokes, great animation, the few moments where they do slow down the plot are nice to see, and if you're a Mario fan, you are obviously going to get a kick out of how visually accurate everything is to the games. I myself am a massive Mario fan, and as much as I would like to make fun of the Mario movie for its lack of a decent script, I will fully admit that seeing Mario and Donkey Kong power up and kick ass on the big screen made me soy. I've completely accepted that these movies do not prioritize good storytelling or character writing in the slightest, and just want to give kids and longtime Mario fans a fun, colorful, and ultra fast-paced 90 minutes of popcorn flicky goodness, and you know what? That's fine. I would have preferred if we had all of that and a better story, but that's what they want to be. Cool. But Super Mario Galaxy is where things get a bit interesting, because Mario Galaxy is, notoriously, one of the few Mario games that seem to actually give a shit about its story. It's still the basic Bowser kidnaps Peach and Mario must save her that we've been doing for 40 years now, but the scale is so much grander. You play Mario Galaxy and you see from minute one it is trying to knock you off your feet. The powerful orchestral score, the flat-out cinematic and epic feel to the cutscenes and the story setup, those quiet moments as you meet Rosalina aboard the Comet Observatory, and then you land on the first proper level of the game right when the music goes yes! And that is just the beginning of the game, dude. Rosalina as a character, while not super deep, is undeniably fascinating, and her backstory is told through her storybook while that sweet somber music plays in the background is almost enough to make you shed a tear. And I mean, dude, the ending? The fucking universe is destroyed and reset, like that's awesome! All in all, Galaxy might not have the deepest story, again it's still Mario at the end of the day, gameplay does take precedent, but it was a story that had a clear identity, a vibe, its own flair, aspects to call its own that no other Mario game, not even its direct sequel, has come close to replicating. You will not find another Mario game with a story and identity like this. Unless you're playing one of the RPGs, but that's hardly a fair comparison. So naturally, with the announcement of the next Mario movie being based on Super Mario Galaxy, there was some discussion to be had. This isn't like all of the other Mario games where the plot is mostly an afterthought, which is why many were able to look past the shortcomings of the first movie, given its focus on being a spectacle-driven popcorn movie. Galaxy has its own identity and some actual substance, and a Galaxy movie that actually tackles what Galaxy puts on the table, the epic scale, the quieter moments, everything involving Rosalina, but gave it more time to flourish. God, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. But as more trailers came out, there was a growing sentiment that the Super Mario Galaxy movie didn't really look like much of a Galaxy movie. It had elements from Galaxy, like, well, the galaxies for one. Rosalina is here, the Lumas are here, the Comet Observatory is here, and we already knew the score was going to be excellent if the first movie was anything to go by, so long as you don't replace it with Take On Me again, like why even? But there was also a lot of stuff here not from Galaxy, like locales from Mario Odyssey, Yoshi being introduced and having some sort of focus. And even though he was in Galaxy 2, that would have made much more sense for a Super Mario World movie or something. And despite the wide variety of wacky planets and different galaxies in the game, the trailer didn't seem to have a huge variety of locations. Coupled that with many of the trailers hardly featuring Galaxy's iconic soundtrack, instead settling for the same orchestral version of 1-1 we've been hearing since the first movie, the Super Mario Galaxy movie was looking less like a Mario Galaxy movie and more like Mario Movie 2. And after seeing the movie myself, yes, it's basically just Mario Movie 2 with some elements from Galaxy thrown into the mix, and when you view the movie through that lens, you'll probably be able to enjoy it a lot more, but man. Firstly, I don't think there's any debate about this. The film looks stunning. The first movie already looked fantastic, and this is no exception. It's hard to say it looks better when there haven't been that many substantial improvements, but it's definitely on par with the first. The visual accuracy to the games is still the greatest strength of these movies, or weakness, depends on who you ask. You can still feel the Illumination animators being held at gunpoint by Miyamoto to not f any of this up. The action sequences are incredibly well done, and it's a good thing too, because this movie is pretty much 70% action sequences. I've fully warmed up to the initially controversial cast at this point. I can tell Chris Pratt is getting better as he goes, even if he's still far from my ideal Mario voice, and the new additions are all great too. Brie Larson is a perfect fit for Rosalina, and it helps that unlike Chris, I spent my entire childhood stomping on Koopa's Pratt. She isn't a poser and actually plays Mario games, that's nice to see. Benny Safdie was probably the most controversial pick out of the new guys, but by about the halfway point, I was honestly on board. I think he sounds good as Bowser Jr. The real crack pipe casting choice for this movie was Donald Glover as fucking Yoshi, and he's somehow killing it? Like, that's just Yoshi, that's awesome. The soundtrack is great, just like the first movie, though I am upset there wasn't much Galaxy music used here. Everything sounds great, but they don't use many songs from the game the movie is adapting, which frankly kinda sucks. Okay, I'm glazing a bit too much, let's be mean for a second. Rosalina, more like bye Selena, cause she leaves after the intro. Seriously, despite being on the poster, and despite Galaxy literally being her debut title, Rosalina has no screen time in the Mario Galaxy movie outside of the intro and the very end. She has less screen time than Luigi did in the first movie. Someone pass me a cup. Now the current the current defense of this decision was that Rosalina didn't exactly have a ton of screen time in the game itself. She appears at the start of the game, you can talk to her throughout the rest of the game, view her backstory, and she does a considerable amount at the end, but she's... wait, hang on, that's already more than what she does in the Galaxy movie, so what the fuck? Rosalina getting shafted in an adaptation of her debut game? Sucks. I'm sorry, it just sucks. The movie had an opportunity to give her more screen time and more of an overall presence, but they just don't do that. Oh, and her backstory? Gone. The whole thing, just... gone. Well, not entirely true. She has a backstory. The backstory is that she's Peach's sister now, apparently. How incredibly underwhelming compared to what we had before. And look, okay, let's say for a second the Galaxy movie is justified for shafting Rosalina due to her limited screen time in the game. Alright, I hear you. So how does Star Fox factor into this equation? Okay, first of all, the marketing guys who thought spoiling the surprise of Fox goddamn McCloud showing up just a week before the film released are a pack of dickheads, bro. And second of all, as much as I love Star Fox, and I'm happy to see Fox in any capacity these days, the utter goal to give Fox McCloud more screen time than Rosalina is baffling. People thought Fox was just gonna be a cute little cameo. Nope, he's almost the main character in this movie. Rosalina gets shafted in her own adaptation in favor of a guy from a completely different franchise. I am shocked no police are on the scene here, because this is the robbery of the century. There is simply no good excuse for Rosalina to be done dirty like this. Though... I will have to admit, every time Fox was on screen, I was grinning ear to ear. I recognize that Rosalina's treatment sucks and that it's ridiculous Fox got more screen time in a Mario Galaxy movie, but... man, every scene with Fox McCloud is a treat. He fucking pilots the Comet Observatory! He does a barrel roll in the Comet Observatory! Okay, I'll stop. The story and pacing issues are probably even worse than before. The first movie barely had a plot worth caring about, but it still had some stuff in there that showed that people cared. The flower field scene with Mario and Peach, every scene with Luigi, there were at least a couple of character arcs in the first movie. I can't name a single character arc in the Galaxy movie. I thought they were gonna give Bowser something, especially when he was visibly upset at the possibility Mario, Peach, and everyone else had just been killed, but they don't really do anything with that. The plot is very unfocused too, without a whole lot of actual direction. There's a random Yoshi's Island sequence with Yoshi having to take care of a baby Mario and Luigi that served genuinely zero purpose and got old very quickly. These movies have fully embraced their status as Easter egg movies for kids and longtime fans to gawk at. It moves from scene to scene with such insane speed, there's basically no time to chill out and let things sit. It's a sugar rush in cinematic form, and while it is absolutely a fun time if you're either a kid or a longtime Nintendo fan, there's definitely an argument to be made that it functions well as a sequel to the first movie. It kinda stings considering what Mario Galaxy was. Again, not a deep story, but one with an established identity, tone, epic cinematic flair, and feel to it, along with introducing a brand new character with a legitimately interesting backstory. It's a Galaxy movie in name alone. There's nothing here that even resembles Galaxy outside of Rosalina, the Lumas, and the concept of hopping from planet to planet. It's fundamentally different, and I think it's a huge missed opportunity. A 90-minute movie is more than enough time to take the story of Galaxy and allow it to truly flourish. You can still cram it with the Easter eggs and the references, all of that, all of the Easter eggs and references you want, even keep a lot of the trademark Illumination humor and such. That doesn't have to go away, but a more fleshed out version of Galaxy's story with some extra focus on Rosalina would have been great. This is all anyone is asking for from the Mario movies, really. We don't want masterpieces, we just want fun video game movies that actually tell a story with some modicum of effort put into it. And I still find it shocking and in many ways deeply embarrassing that devout fans of the Mario movies will go out of their way to harass actual professional film reviewers and content creators for offering the most surface level critiques of the Mario movies. The first movie I could care less about having a story at this point. It's a fun reference movie, I can enjoy it. But with Galaxy there was already a story here, and despite its lack of depth, it was still epic and fascinating. For the feature film adaptation of Galaxy to strip Galaxy of its identity and have an actively worse story than the video game feels wrong. I can't get behind that as much as I still enjoyed the film. And yeah, I'm pussyfooting a lot by reminding you I did enjoy this film. Have you seen how people look after they aren't careful addressing the issues with this movie? I'm gonna address the elephant in the room now, so for everyone who loves posting that one clip from my Criticism Not Welcome video in response to discourse about the movie, listen up because I hate that video. Clip this next part instead. I won't die of embarrassment hearing my old microphone anymore. I fear I may have come off as oddly antagonistic in my other Mario movie video when discussing these kinds of fans, and I apologize for that, but the cycle is repeating with Mario Galaxy, and it's making me sad. We have people genuinely telling anyone from professional critics to die-hard fans that they aren't allowed to criticize the Mario Galaxy movie simply because it's a movie aimed at kids. These same people are usually the 25 to 30-something-year-old Nintendo fans that these movies are usually catered to. Children aren't going to recognize every Easter egg that's in each individual frame that everyone from Miyamoto to Chris Meledandri, and even the cast members love talking about in interviews to drum up hype. That's you guys. You're gonna recognize those Easter eggs. This movie is made for you. It's why the other side of the coin brushes off all criticism of this movie as a movie with "it's for the fans." So which is it? Is it a movie for children or is it a movie for the fans? I can tell you right now that it is in fact both, and this still does not mean the film was exempt from criticism. I think a lot of this defensiveness inherently comes with the territory of Mario games not having deep stories. And so whenever you say you thought the story of the movie was bad, people automatically assume you wanted a Goodfellas level narrative from the film with Bowser Jr. in it. And it's like, no, we just want a story that isn't paper thin. Not a masterpiece, not emotionally deep, not anything profound, just a bare minimum solid plot that isn't carried solely by how many references you can spot. Because that's the bare minimum for a film. You can't have a film without a bare minimum solid plot with some sort of cohesion. Because I must stress, when you don't have that, you don't really have a movie. You have a fun and enjoyable 90-minute roller coaster ride. But as a film, that doesn't really work. You can't really blame people for going to see a movie and not really getting a movie. Especially people who are literally paid to review movies. Though I will agree some of these headlines are a little dramatic. Like, worse than AI, but fuck off. At least when I said Wish's lyrics were like AI, I was funny about it, especially when the game the movie is based on had exactly what the movie needed. I've also been seeing the "it's a kids movie" defense surge in popularity, and it genuinely feels like the human race is going backwards, because if you used that as a defense of a kids movie you enjoyed like 6 years ago, you would have gotten cooked. Yes, the Mario movie is aimed at kids, but it's also a movie very clearly aimed at adult Nintendo fans, so it's clearly aiming for a general audience sort of appeal. A movie anyone of any age can enjoy, not just limited to children. If this was some shit like Paw Patrol, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's a kids movie, you can stop there, pal. But if a movie is trying to appeal to all ages, then that's where criticism is justified in my eyes. Especially because a lot of movies that appeal to all ages happen to be genuine masterpieces. Mario movies do not need to be masterpieces, but it's worth reminding you that just because kids will happily consume slop doesn't mean they won't appreciate a well-cooked meal. Kids deserve better, especially given we're living in the TikTok era now. And most of the best kids movies are movies that adults can comfortably appreciate as well. And besides, these same people saying shit like, oh, it's a kid's movie, you can't criticize a kid's movie, are usually the ones who are going to see said kid's movie anyway. Like not to be a dick, but it comes off as projection. Not to mention, no one ever bats an eye when any other kid's movie receives glowingly positive reviews. Apparently, it's weird for an adult to criticize a kid's movie for not being good because they should be engaging with adult stuff instead, but it's not weird for them to praise a kid's movie for being good. There's a reason for that, and some people aren't gonna like it when I say this, but it's because you like the movie! You like the movie and don't like it when it gets criticized! That's fine! That's normal! But you shouldn't use those feelings to silence criticism! How many people do you think want my head on a pike just for saying that? I'm a gambling man, but Ooh, that's enough about that. Let's move on. Well, but actually that's kinda all I have to say. Do I recommend the Mario Galaxy movie? Well, that depends on how much you like the first one in spite of it all, and also how tolerant you are of seeing a Mario Galaxy movie be astoundingly not at all like Mario Galaxy. I still had a good time, enjoyed myself and everything, I bought the fuck-ass Yoshi popcorn bucket, please validate my corporate shilling, but as a film it's still pretty unremarkable, and at worst, a bit of an insult to Galaxy as a whole. Kids will like it, hardcore Nintendo fans will probably like it, but it could have been so much better had they actually stuck to what Galaxy had already laid down, at least in my opinion. The film's fine, I'll happily rewatch it at some point, but yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Play Deadlock.
Yo, she got a punch off?
Got her.
Yo!
Stupid bitch.